Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my Formula 1 2020 career mode with Michael Schumacher as part of the Haas F1 team. In the last video we completed our first race of the season at Australia. Didn't do very well, but we weren't expected to. So before the Bahrain Grand Prix, I'm just taking a little bit of a moment to have a look at our team headquarters and our facilities and see what we've got available to us. Our aerodynamics team has got poor morale, and I'm wondering if that's because I maybe possibly answered some questions wrong in the Australian Grand Prix. We are going to do another major upgrade though, weight reduction, which could be very useful for the team because the car is very sluggish, no doubt about it. The car is incredibly sluggish. So we are going to be giving it, you know, a bit of an upgrade. Can't do anything else at the moment. We don't have enough resource points, so we might as well go into the race and start trying to earn those points by doing practice programs in the practice sessions. So yeah, let's head into the Bahrain weekend, where actually I'm expecting a slightly better performance. Really, I'm slightly expecting a better show of things because it is a more of a power circuit, Bahrain, and that suits us because we've got a good power train, a good power engine. You know, it's not quite as chassis and downforce heavy as other circuits, so I would be expecting, you know, good performance possibly.
Practice sessions are vital for the continuing development of the car, but if you need to, you can choose to simulate the session instead. It won't be as effective as having you behind the wheel directly, but it's better than missing the session entirely.
Well, that's nice to know, Carl. That's very good information, because, you know, there's potential that we might skip some races. Monaco. And it'd be nice to know we can still get the points for them. So our durability department has got good morale, our aerodynamics department has got poor morale. So at the moment, anything aerodynamically that we make has a higher chance of failing and also has a higher cost attributed to it because of the morale. It also takes longer to develop as well when they're having a bit of a huff and a puff. One of the things we are going to need to get into with the engine development, although I wasn't really planning on developing the engine in the first year because our engine is actually pretty good, we are going to need to do something about the ERS, and I'll explain more about that in the race.
I know it's tempting to focus entirely on the race, but we should put a bit of time aside to run the qualifying sim program. Try to run it before the end of FP3 if you can.
I will do, Jeff, don't worry. I will be running it in FP2 because we don't run in FP3. I did manage to knock out the first 4 programs in free practice 1, and we actually managed to set a time that put us 5th on the board, which was pretty good. I think you'll agree.
We're 20th in the speed trap, 200.8 miles per hour.
Not that fast in the speed trap though, apparently, but still good enough to be 5th place everywhere else on the circuit. So again, our car is very draggy in a straight line, which probably doesn't help. So in free practice 2, obviously I smashed the qualifying pace program and also the race strategy program. Completed all the team objectives then at that point and got us up to all the resource points accrued and earned and obtained. So we've earned our points. We also managed to set a time that was 4th fastest in the session. Again, looking at the leaderboard, some of the top guys aren't even going for it yet. I think. I did end up actually going out and running again in P2, running a few more laps, just to see what kind of time we could. Basically, I wanted to see how good the medium tyres were going to be on a long run. So I did actually go out and do a long run on my P2 tyres, on my mediums, but I ended up spinning the car, which is something that kind of plagued me all through practice, really. The back end of the car is incredibly loose, and I did have a few adventures, so I'm probably going to break my rule about practice 3, and that rule is that I don't normally run in practice 3 because obviously I like to save the gearbox and the engine for the qualifying and the race. However, I feel I'm going to have to run in practice 3 because this car setup still isn't right. I keep losing the back end. I keep spinning. So I need to get that kind of dialed out if I can. Also, another good reason to run in practice 3 is, so far in practice 1 and 2, I haven't used any soft tyres. Haven't used the soft compound, and it's going to be interesting to know how long that performs and how long that actually lasts. So I'm tempted to run in P3, purely just to strap on a set of soft tyres and thrash them for
The session
ever.
has drawn to a close, so let's review
You know,
our
strap
top
on a
three.
set of softs and thrash them till they
and
fall
Sebastian
apart
Vettel.
and see how many
What an
laps they
incredible
actually do.
practice session. The fun doesn't stop here, though. Join us again as
And
the
then
rest
that
of
will
the
let me
weekend
decide what I'm going to do race-wise, what my race strategy will be. So here we are then at the end of practice 3. I actually went out and did 11 laps on one set of soft
Our
tyres.
best lap so far is a 1:28.7.
So the soft tyres will roughly last a third of the race distance. It's a 29 lap race on Sunday. So a set of softs will last 11 laps. And obviously I'm P6 in the speed department there. So the softs are an option tyre, definitely to consider. However, I think
And with all the
medium
cars now over
and
the
hard
line,
are the way
let's
most
see our
people will
top
be
three
going.
again. Bottas, Hamilton, and Max Verstappen.
And obviously
And
there's a
if
couple of
today's
guys
practice is
there that
anything
have
to
set
go by,
very
we're
fast
in for an
times on the
exceptional
mediums.
weekend of Formula One.
My teammate's down there in 16th. He's not doing great jobs for me. But, you know, we'll see how things go. But the most important thing is we got all the resource points acquired. Roman got a few. I got quite a few. All in all, plenty of points for the team, which means we can develop a few more bits. Start getting a few more bits into the older construction mode and upgrading the team. Again, I would really like to be able to unlock quite a few chassis and aero upgrades. However, that is proving a bit of a challenge. Anyway, we're going to go into qualifying next. Checking all the engine components, all the wear and tear on those is pretty good, 18%. Gearbox, event gearbox is only 18% wear. It's done one race, effectively. No reliability issues or mechanical issues to worry about on this thing. Shame there's no like crofty introduction here. Parc Ferme. Alright, let's get out on track, boys. Right, P1, practice 1, not an issue. We sailed through qualifying 1. We're in qualifying 2 at the minute, and I'm going to go out on the medium compound tyre. I know that was a risk I took in Australia, and it kind of backfired on me. But I've got a feeling that I can actually pull it off on this circuit. I can get into Q3 on the mediums. I also took advantage of practice 3, not only setting 11 laps on the soft tyre, but also to try and fix the car settle to stop that back end spinning out on me and getting away from me when I accelerate out of corners. I'm still learning what the differentials mean, the differential settings in the car settle. It used to be that I always ran with the differential on throttle at 0. Its lowest, whatever its lowest 50% or whatever its lowest setting is, and the differential off throttle much higher. However, what I am doing this time round in this career mode is I'm doing that the opposite way. Off throttle, I want the wheels to turn at whatever speed they want to turn at quite freely. However, when I'm accelerating, I want the wheels to be locked, so I'm running the diff at about 80 to 85. I don't know if that's a good thing or not to be doing, or whether I should be running with the diff higher. But I'm trying to keep the rear wheels spinning at the same speed when I'm pressing the accelerator. I don't want one wheel spinning up more than another, because that's what I believe promotes a spin. Is that a pretty good time there? So we're going to head back to the pits anyway. Drive back in. I've been recharging my battery on the way in. Interesting thing I noticed when I did my qualifying pace program in practice 2, when I went on the track after that to do my test on the mediums, I found that the car retains its hot lap ERS setting and high fuel mix setting, because as I was doing my laps on the medium, I couldn't work out why my fuel was going down really fast and why I never had any ERS. And it's because the game saves your settings in between sessions, in between programs. So that's something to check. If you're the kind of person that goes out and does your qualifying program very early in a practice session and you don't check your settings, you could be running in the wrong engine mode and ERS modes for the whole of the practice session then, and doing very bad things to your car.
So far, our fastest lap is a 1:28.4.
Which is good enough for 8th place, which will get me into the Q3 shootout. And potentially top 10 start. Definitely a top 10 start. But here's a chance for us to go out there and maybe try and get a little bit out of position. Start the race completely out of position for where the car should be in terms of its performance, and then see what happens in the race. Basically. We're on the nice soft tyres, but it doesn't matter because we won't be using these in the race. We will be starting on the good old mediums. Coming up to the line. 128.3. Puts us 0.8 off Verstappen. P6. But oddly, I'm setting a faster time now on my second run. I'm actually set a positive sector 1 there. So, if my fuel will last, if I've got enough fuel, I might keep pushing. Perez locking up there. He's moved over. Good boy. I'm nearly a second up, or I was. I'm losing time now. About half a second. About half a second up. Oh, I'm a second up on my previous best.
Less than a lap of fuel now. The tank is empty.
That puts me into third place. A 127.2 is good enough for third place at the moment. Surely everyone else is going to go out again and have a run. Aren't they?
So far, our fastest lap is a 1 minute 27.2.
Are they going to run again? They're leaving it a little bit late. I think everyone's decided just to do one lap, you know. If that's the case, then we've got a P3. We've got a second row start in the race.
With qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves of our top three: Hamilton, Vettel and Schumacher. With qualifying complete, all that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
That's interesting. That is very interesting that they decided not to run second laps. No one tried to improve their time. Very weird. I mean, I'm not complaining. As a result of that, we got third place. But I would have expected the likes of Verstappen, Bottas, Leclerc to have gone out and set faster times and been ahead of us, definitely. Very strange.
All right, I think we can call that a successful qualifying. We should be in with a good chance in the race.
Oh yeah. Definitely out of position in P3, which means for some teams they're going to be banging their heads against the desks because they've got to find a way to get past us now. And I'm not quite so easy to overtake. Am I? I tend to get my elbows out.
We're here again then at a circuit famous for its stunning visuals and thrilling battles for glory. Who will take the spotlight in the Bahrain Grand Prix today?
Quite warm. It's clear, it's dry.
There's no shortage of passing opportunities around the 3.36 miles of the Bahrain International Circuit, with the best at turn 1 of course, and then another soon into turn 4. 15 corners here, 6 to the left and 9 to the right, and we could see 1 or 2 flat spots into the tight left-hander of turn 10. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box. And it's fantastic to have you with us here today, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, How do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
But from the moment qualifying's over, you start to feel the adrenaline in your body build up and the buzz in your stomach as you anticipate the run down into turn 1. It's all a bit like going into battle, and the unknown situation makes you nervous. Those pre-race nerves are a good thing. The day you don't have them means that you don't care anymore. And of course, you have to make sure that all the procedures are second nature to you, so that they're not taking up too much of your capacity.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and starting alongside in P2 is Sebastian Vettel. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Schumacher, Leclerc, Max Verstappen and Bottas, Ricciardo, Norris, Perez and Alexander Albon, Raikkonen, Stroll, Esteban Ocon and Kvyat, Russell, Sainz, Antonio Giovinazzi and Pierre Gasly, Grosjean and Nicholas Latifi. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
Well, Grosjean sort of let the team down a bit, didn't he?
You have a good chance of getting a points position today.
Yeah, that would be nice, Jeff. Would be nice to get some points on the board early. I think we're going to run the personalised strategy is normally what I run. I certainly want to run less. I'm going to actually do something I never normally do. I'm going to start with less fuel. I know I criticise people who normally start the race with no fuel and have to run in lean mix the whole time, but I reckon if I start with less fuel, because I'm going to be spending a lot of the race being overtaken by other cars and then immediately afterwards following very closely to them in the slipstream, I'm going to be able to save a lot of fuel. And I got a good start. Oh, I just lost a little bit of front wing lock. Damn it. Just clipped the back of Hamilton's car. I got a very good start there, and I am up into P1 after the first corner. Wow. When was the last time a Haas car led a Grand Prix?
Mind that front wing. It'll need replacing if it takes too much damage.
But bearing in mind Lewis Hamilton is right behind me and he's on one. One of the things I managed to do for this race was make sure I started in rich mix and with my ERS enabled, something I failed to do in Australia. Because I don't do formation laps, it's very hard to set those settings before the race, because if you go into the race without formation lap, it's literally the lights are coming on the minute you load in. You have very little time to change your MFD settings. Hamilton's gone. He's bolted. He's already a second ahead of me. 1.5 seconds ahead of me. That Mercedes is quick. That Mercedes has got some flipping pace to it. By the end of this first straight, start and finish straight, he's going to be 2 seconds ahead of me. He's already pulled out 2 seconds on me. We're not in the same race as the Mercedes. We really aren't. We're not racing in the Mercedes, boys. Been more interested in Vettel behind me. Hopefully he's holding up Bottas and Verstappen and all them guys. But I now see the red Ferrari in my wing mirror and in my rear view mirror, and I'm like, yeah. How many laps am I going to be enjoying this position before everybody just starts to come past me and we start to fall back down the grid? Here comes the red Ferrari.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you are within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS
Yeah, I'm
zone.
not having that. Sorry, Seb. I'm going to do the old switcheroo on you. And it looks like Bottas has took advantage of that. And Bottas has sneaked past Vettel. I don't know if that was such a good move then, because now I've got Bottas chasing me. And Bottas is quick. But I managed to fight off one overtake and get a place back. So I'm still holding on to P2. The fact that all these guys are on soft tyres, they should be absolutely flying past me. Because I'm obviously running a different strategy and I'm going to pit much later in the race than they are. Here comes that black Mercedes. Not close enough. He's not close enough. Verstappen's got past Vettel as well. Now the Mercedes and Red Bull behind me. Lewis is gone. He's disappeared. He's 5 seconds up the road. We're not in the same race as Lewis Hamilton. In fact, he's so far ahead. He's already won this race. He's in a different time zone, that kid. But I can still see him at some parts of the track. He's not completely out of visual range yet, but for the timing purposes, he's in a different race to me. I wonder why he's in such a rush. Has he got an early flight to catch? Setting green sectors, personal bests. Got a little bit wide there, which didn't help. Here comes that black Mercedes again. Gonna have a drag race with him. Here comes the Red Bull as well. Bottas is going through. Is he? No, he's not. Is he? No. No, we managed to defend. We managed to defend. Vettel's managed to overtake Verstappen, but Verstappen's just took the place back. It looks like Bottas is going to have to wait yet again for the next start and finish line. They're dragged down to turn 1. Hey, 5 laps into this race and I've only been overtaken by 1 car. In fact, actually, I've gained a place. I'm in P2, so far, everything's going brilliantly for me. You know, Hamilton 7 seconds up the road doesn't really matter. We're not racing him. But the longer I can stay in this position, the better it is for me. Because all the while, these guys on the soft tyres and the mediums, they're going backwards. Oh my God, that black Mercedes is coming again. He's not close enough. Sorry. Close the door on him. But here on lap 6, Bottas isn't overtaking me. This must just be hurting them. Those guys in their car must be going nuts. But they've got a slow ass Haas car in front of them, holding them up. I mean, there's quite a few. There's Bottas, there's Verstappen, there's Vettel. There's quite a queue of cars behind me here. That I'm just giving large amounts of pain to by being slow. But hey, no blue flags. I'm legitimately in P2, so they're not going to get blue flagged past me. So they've got to learn to overtake. They're so used to just lapping me in the Haas and being waved through by the stewards.
We're leading our teammate by 13.3 seconds.
Enough, close enough, Bottas. Billy Bottas isn't close enough. Vettel is now jumped ahead of Verstappen. Ricciardo is now in the top 5. So where's Verstappen gone? Maybe Verstappen's boxed. I think Verstappen was one of the soft tyre runners, so he's probably run out of tyres 7 laps into the race. Wow, that Mercedes. He's coming. He's coming. He's passed. Wow, Billy Bottas got the run on me that time. Did.
Okay, keep on him. He might make a mistake.
We're going to send it turn 1. And not only did we send it, we sent it in such a fashion that Bottas lost out to Vettel as well. We completely put Bottas off his flipping stride there. And as a result, the Ferraris got past the Mercedes. Oh, that's worked out even better. Because now our engine supply will be holding up the Merc. Lance Stroll is out of the session.
Full course caution. The safety car is out. Keep an eye on the
Stroll.
delta. We need to keep it positive to avoid a penalty.
He's brought out the safety
Slow
car.
down. Maintain positive delta. A new strategy is available on the MFD. Drop
let's
your
slow
speed.
down.
Our delta is too low and we risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
Right, yeah,
Confirmed.
let's pit. Let's pit. Let's take advantage of the safety car for a cheap pit stop. Let's strap on the hard tyres. I know that's early. That is incredibly early. In fact, that's like 21 laps early. 21 laps of the race to go on one set of tyres. That might be a challenge.
Hamilton is stopping now.
Lewis is boxing, so he's getting rid of the mediums. And he's going to go back out on the softs. So Hamilton is going to have to stop again in this race. So he's on a 2-stop strategy. I'm also going to repair my front wing that got damaged in that overtake
Roman
of
is in
Lewis
for a
at the
stop.
start.
Exit now.
So I've had a new front wing and a new set of tyres. Take advantage of the safety car, so I didn't lose too much time.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit.
Obviously, some of these cars in front of me have not pitted under the safety car because their teammates did. But Verstappen's on the softs. Ricciardo's on softs. Albon and Ocon, they're on softs. These guys are going to have to pit again in this race. And I'm not. Potentially. If I can look after these tyres, I can go all the way to the end on these. They'll be a bit horrible by the end of the race, but it also depends on how long we're running behind this safety car as well, doesn't it? Because we can be saving fuel, getting plenty of that saved up, ready for plenty of rich mix action later on. Our ERS battery could be charging up this whole time, so we can end up with 100% battery store when the race resumes. But we have a safety car, and that's the second race in a row now we've had safety cars. Because obviously Australia had one. Get your speed right. Safety car is coming in this lap. Right. We are going racing again. Everybody's been bunched up.
Okay, let's get ready to go racing again. The safety car is in this lap.
Cold brakes,
when the
cold
field accelerates,
tyres.
remember, there is no overtaking until the green flags. Safety car in this lap.
Oh, I've been caught out. Oh.
The track is clear. Green
I
flag.
got caught out there on the restart. There's a lock up there from Verstappen. Oh, Albon's pounced. He's come past me. No, we're not racing them, remember. They're on soft tyres. Let's not worry about it. Let's let them drag me around this track in slipstream, because they're all on soft tyres, so they are definitely stopping. They are not doing, 20 laps on those tyres. Not a chance. Seeing as I could only make a set of softs last 11 in P3, and I generally am kinder on my tyres than the AI. I tend to be able to make tyres last longer. From the Formula 2 career, I was always able to do longer stints than the AI. So they wear the tyres out faster than me. But they are definitely not going to the end on a set of softs. So we're currently in P10, and pretty much everybody in front of us has to pit. So as long as we don't let them get too far ahead, We will pass them when they pit.
Gap to teammate behind is 3.8 seconds.
I think at the front of the grid, it's Bottas leading from, I think, one of the Ferraris, and then I think it's Hamilton in third place. Well, I think the safety car did not work out very well for Lewis. I'm going to think potentially there's a chance that he may have been past the pits when that safety car got thrown out. So everybody else who stopped behind him has... No, because he did pit in front of us. No, he did pit in front of us under the safety car. Maybe there's a couple of the others that haven't. Maybe Bottas didn't stop. And maybe the Ferrari. I can't remember who came past me in the pit lane when I was having my tyres changed. I don't think the Mercs double stacked. They come to done. Did they? I mean, the only way Bottas could be in front of Lewis is if Bottas didn't pit under the safety car.
Okay, the stewards have now enabled DRS. DRS is now on.
Great, Jeff, just as Ocon comes past me. Well, I'm going to take that place back. Esteban, know your role. And of course, by defending Ocon and overtaking him, he's lost out to Norris. So he's suffered the same fate as Bottas did earlier in the race. If you try and overtake into turn one and don't get it, the guy actually comes back at you like I've done. It actually works out worse for the guy who initially overtook, because he normally gets then overtaken by the guy behind him. So in trying to gain a place, he actually loses one. Bottas lost out to Vettel when he tried to overtake me, and Ocon has lost out to Lando. So... And I've pretty much got the strategy for that corner nailed. When they overtake me, as soon as they move back to the racing line, I'm going down the inside into turn one. And I'm just going to stick the car on the inside and force them as wide as possible, because they're going to have to slow and brake to almost a standstill to avoid going off track. And that just leaves them a sitting duck then for everyone behind them.
The gap to the car ahead is 1.5 seconds.
Okay, a couple of the guys I've just noticed have pitted. Bottas and one of the Ferraris, or two of the Ferraris have pitted. We're up to P7 at the minute. Got the two Red Bulls in front of us. And then we've got Ricciardo in the Renault. And then we've got one of the Alphas. And that Alfa Romeo's got to be out of position as well. So for him to be running in what, P4? That is quite an achievement for the Alfa Romeo. Admittedly, he's causing a huge train of cars behind him. Giovinazzi. It was Giovinazzi. Right, that explains a lot. I'm going to send it. Goodbye, Albon. Tell you what, that was a risky move there, because Albon has, as we know, got a thing for taking out world champions in races, for crashing into them. But that time, he kind of accepted defeat. Not that I gave him much of an option. Now we've got to chase down Verstappen and Ricciardo. I'll tell you what, we are overachieving at this point in this race. I'm surprised we haven't been passed. I'm quite honestly surprised that the rest of the field hasn't passed me and caught me up and overtook me, you know, and dropped us back to where we actually should be in the race, you know, with our car's performance, you know. But like I say, a powered circuit like this, we probably aren't as bad as the performance chart suggests. Because the one thing this Ferrari engine will give us is speed. Speed and power, which is great on straights like this.
Our gap to the car in front is 2.4
Here
seconds.
comes Roger Red Bull again. And again, as soon as he moves back to the racing line, I'm just going to switch back. That's...
Roman is in the pits.
You can't complete that overtake like that. Sorry guys, all the AI guys that try that move on me, you're not going to overtake me into turn one. You're not.
Hamilton's in first place. We've been awarded a time penalty. It will go against our finishing time at the end of the race.
A 3-second time penalty for track limits. Come on, stewards. I'm hardly freaking stealing freaking miles at that corner. I was pretty sure I was on the curb there. I've never gone beyond the curb in that corner. I think these stewards are racist. They just hate me. So I've got to make sure now I finish 3 seconds ahead of the car behind me to keep my position. Where's that going to put me? Oh, it's going to drop me down to P5. Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute, I'm in P1. Oh, has everybody pitted? I was so focused on the penalty and getting penalised by the stewards, I didn't realise that everybody in front of me has pitted in this race. So we are effectively P1 at the moment. The two Mercs are just coming onto that straight. Followed by the two Ferraris. Track limits again. What? I wonder if the guys behind me, Albon, Ocon, Perez and Sainz, if they're going to pit this lap. They are. Okay, this is what we wanted, guys. Everybody is pitting, apart from Bottas and Hamilton.
Teammate by 32.4 seconds.
Bottas is 11 seconds behind me. Followed by Hamilton at 12, followed by Vettel at 16, Leclerc at 17 seconds. So we are ahead of the big boys who have now made their stops. We don't have to stop again, technically. Whether we've got the tyre life to keep going, I don't know. Also depends really on how fast these guys catch me. I mean, I would like to think they're going to come steaming up behind me very soon, because they should be faster than me by a lot. But right now, Bottas 10 seconds behind me. That's a big gap. With 11 laps of the race, 10 laps of the race to go. We may have played this strategy to perfection, and with the aid of the safety car, we may have absolutely pulled a blinder here. Not wanting to get ahead of myself, you know, because there's still 10 laps of the race to go. But we've got quite a good gap. We are in P1. I mean, admittedly, Bottas is now only 9 seconds behind me. He's clawed back 1 second. If he does only gains 1 second a lap, it's going to take him 10 laps to catch me, and the race will be over by then. Running a bit of lean mix. Going to go back up to standard fuel now. Okay, Bottas is only 8.5 seconds behind me now. Not using any overtake button at the minute because I'm trying to get my battery to charge back up because I might need it to do some defending.
We're at +1 lap of extra fuel. Fuel target
That's
+1.
okay, Jeff. We're going to stay in standard mix, and if need be, I'll go up to Rich when these guys catch me. Bottas is now only 7 seconds behind, so he's took another second out of me. Lewis is now only 9 seconds behind. The Ferraris aren't catching incredibly fast though. They're not as quick as the Mercs. Oh, I'm so excited. So excited and so nervous as well. I hope everything is good on the car. Bottas has now got the gap down to 6 seconds. Coming at me now. They are on a charge, these boys. There's Mercedes boys.
to teammate behind is 37.2 seconds.
Yeah, and gap to Bottas behind is 5 seconds. That's the one I'm more worried about, Jeff. No point telling me about Grosjean. What I want to know is how did this race go so badly for Lewis? Because at one point he was, 8-9 seconds disappeared into the distance in P1 ahead of me in P2, and suddenly now he's in P3 stuck behind Bottas.
Battery charge is high. Let's use that overtake button more.
Okay, Jeff wants me to use the overtake button. I will press the overtake button. The clerk's just disappeared off the timing screen, and Ricardo has now taken P5.
Safety car
The
deployed.
clerk is out of the
safety
race.
car has been deployed.
And we have another
Watch your
safety
delta.
car.
Make sure you keep it positive as we catch the pack.
Oh boy, what do I do? What do I do now then? Do I pit? Should I pit for new tyres? Potentially cover off anybody behind me? Yeah, we should box.
Okay, we can take you this lap.
Get rid of, put a fresh set of tyres on for the last 5 laps. Last 7 laps, should I say. Bottas is 3 seconds behind me. Hamilton 6. I'm going to come out somewhere near Ricciardo. Bottas and Hamilton have passed me. Vettel's passed me.
Go now.
If we can get out now, we'll be in P5. Come on.
Look after these tyres
There
now.
goes
We want to finish
Ricciardo.
the race on this compound.
But we're ahead of Albon. So we've just got the Renault man to catch. And we're on a set of mediums. I'm wondering if I've just messed that up. I should have gone on the soft, shouldn't I? I should have strapped on a brand new set of softs. Because obviously a brand new set of soft tyres would be a lot quicker than these guys on the mediums and the hards. I'm now running the same tyres as most of these guys, and most of these guys are faster than me. I'm not going to be able to overtake them. I've got the tyre strategy all wrong. I should have put softs. I proved I could do 11 laps on the soft, so to do 7 would have been easy peasy, especially at this stage of the race with light fuel load. I could have had a real advantage over these guys, and I've given it away. I'm also going to struggle to pull out the 3 seconds I need because of that time penalty I'm going to get. So I'm going to get double whammied now. There's probably people sat there right now screaming at the screen saying, why did you pit? You should have just stayed out on the hards, because at the end of the day it would be harder for them to overtake you. You know, Bottas, Hamilton, Vettel, etc, etc, etc. By coming into the pits, you've basically just let them by, waved them through. Oh, I hope I haven't blown this. I hope I haven't blown this. I hope this isn't going to turn into a disaster. You know, I hate to use that Gunther Steiner expression, but I hope we don't go from looking like a rock star to... Because that is... that is possibility. There's a possibility, especially with the time penalty that I'm going to get at the end of the race. But, hold on a minute. Why didn't they give me the penalty at the pit stop? I have to serve the 3 seconds when I pit? Unless you can't serve the penalty under the safety car. Yeah, maybe that's why. Because I'm thinking, I definitely got the penalty before I stopped, and yet I didn't seem to get held at the pit stop. Safety car's coming in this lap. Right. Let's focus here then. Let's not get caught napping like we did the first safety car. Let's make sure...
Safety car is in this lap. Safety car in this lap. Let's make sure those tyres are up to temperature, and remember, there is no overtaking until the timing line. Stay in position until the green flags.
Yeah, but let's make sure we're as close to Ricciardo, if not alongside him, as we can be when we get to that timing line. I don't want to do like I did with Verstappen and back off and then run away from me. Right, we are going. We are going. We are going.
Okay, clear.
I've got Rich Mix. I've got ERS overtake button pressed. We're going to send it past Danny Ricciardo. Yes, that's P4, baby. That's P4.
A new strategy is available on the MFD.
Don't need to know about a new strategy, Jeff. We're okay. He's probably going to tell me I've lost a bit of front wing. Because of contact with Ricciardo. But to be honest, we're not going to pit. There's only 4 laps left, Jeff. Come on. And to be honest, I did all right on that first stint that I did with my broken wing. As long as it's, if it's light yellow or yellow, it's not too bad. It's if it's orange or red that's when you need to change it. I've run out of ERS battery. But the good thing is I can run in rich mix until the end of the race. I've got enough fuel that I can run in rich until the end of the race.
We're leading our teammate by 6.0 seconds.
So having rich mix is probably good because I don't have a lot of ERS.
There's 5 laps of fuel remaining.
I don't have a lot of overtake mode, sadly. But I think I'm on the wrong tyres at this point. If I'd have been on the softs, I would have been so much quicker than these other guys. Trying to limp to the end of the race on their mediums. Because nobody pitted under the safety car except me. I was the only one on that second safety car that boxed. None of the leaders boxed. Because they'd all stopped during normal race running, which is why everyone was behind me. They'd already made their second stop. So nobody's done a 3-stop.
DRS has been enabled. DRS is now enabled.
A Ferrari in front of us. Feel like we're in a bit of no man's land at the minute. Because I'm not really gaining on the guys in front. In fact, they're just slowly pulling away from me. And I was about to say the guys behind me weren't really catching me, but now all of a sudden they're all in DRS range of me. which means they're going to overtake me on the track. And then that 3-second penalty doesn't even come into the equation, does it then? Here comes Danny Rick. Ooh. He's learnt.
Come on, you can win that place back.
He's learnt. What I said about turn 1 earlier. He actually overtook me, but then he stayed on the inside, so I couldn't go to the inside, which meant he was able to complete the move. Normally, when they overtake you, they move to the racing line. He didn't. He's got smarter. Clever boy. That's one way to stop me making that overtake, by the AI keeping me on the outside. I can't switch to the inside then and take the inside line into that corner. They've been watching and been learning. Because although he stayed there, he stayed on that right hand side. He didn't try to get back to the racing line, which is what the AI normally always does. Here comes Alex Albon behind me.
This is your final lap of the race.
He's diving down the inside. And he too didn't make the move back to the left. He stayed on the inside, and as a result, he's got past me. They've learnt through this race. Damn it. And now I'm in P6. And worryingly, I'm not 3 seconds ahead of the guy behind me. Or the guy behind him.
We pretty much burned off our excess fuel. We'll be back on target soon. Don't wait too long to turn the engine down.
Unfortunately, I'm about to lose another bunch of places, but this time after the race, post-penalty. So we're losing P7 and P8. We're going to be P9. Potentially. Which honestly doesn't feel that good. Based on where we were in the race, I feel I have completely cocked this. After that last stop. I shouldn't have boxed under the safety car. I should have stayed on the hards and forced everyone to overtake me.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
10th place we are, yeah. Because of the penalty, we've been dropped to 10th. I mean, it's still a point in the championship. It's still our first points of the season as a team. But when we started P3, that is
and rightly so. What a brilliant effort from the whole team.
tough to take. I think I got the strategy completely wrong there. That
Anthony
pit stop.
Davidson, a resounding victory today. What set them apart from the rest?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race,
Yeah.
didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it.
Well, I would have been carrying on the hard tyres.
That situation in a good position.
Waiting for the Mercedes to
Are on top
steam up
form once
behind me.
again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
And have to overtake me on the track. That would have been different, because that would have took them longer. And maybe as well, some of those cars would not have got within that 3-second distance that the penalty wouldn't have demoted me quite so far down the field. I think without that safety car and without me pitting, I could have probably been P5, P6 in that race quite easily. If I'd have just carried on the hard tyres. Bottas and Hamilton would have caught me.
The driver's standings. Well, the gap at the top
It would
of
have
the
been close
championship has
with
been cut down after a
the
difficult race
Ferraris.
today for our championship leader. Now,
Well,
let's discuss,
one
Ants, who
Ferrari,
would you say is
because
a
Leclerc didn't
contender for
finish.
driver of the day?
Definitely Antonio Giovinazzi, isn't it? No matter what the
I mean,
rest of the
Danny
field
Rick's
threw at
good
him,
distance
he didn't
back
put a foot
from
wrong.
Vettel. Vettel
Superb
was, what,
drive from
12
him.
seconds
It's time to
behind
see
me when
how
that
things are
safety car
shaping
came
up
out.
in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. There was also
So
a
he would have
strong
been
showing from the
17
McLaren team today
seconds.
as they make their way up the standings. Well, that was certainly an incredible weekend of racing. Be sure to join myself and Ant for more exciting Formula One action soon.
Yeah, I think without the pit stop, I would have probably been P4. Because I don't think Ricciardo would have been able to have caught me. I don't. And Bottas only did a one stop, so that's why he won that race. He did not pit under the first safety car. He just boxed late in the race when Hamilton did. When everybody boxed and I got the P1. But man, that was a tight rack, good race. It was fun, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it. I just think we potentially threw away some points there. And a better position. I kind of felt like I deserved more than where we finished. Grosjean didn't do a lot. He only finished ahead of 2 cars because they retired.
So that was an exciting race from our perspective. Let's have yours. You really looked in control of your car out there. Your team must be thrilled.
Yeah, I couldn't do it without a great team behind me. And I'm thrilled with their support during the race.
Do you have any comments about the
Collisions? Lack of downforce. Well, the downforce department's already unhappy with me, so I might as well keep ticking them off a bit more until they give me some downforce improvements. But yeah, I didn't really have I only had 2 little, they weren't even really collisions, were they? The Lewis Hamilton little scrape on the first lap, which I felt, to be honest, the contact didn't warrant the damage. And then later on, when it was, who was it overtook the second time that caused a little bit of front wing damage? Was it Ricciardo? Yeah, I didn't deserve that either. But anyway, folks, come back and join me for the next race very soon.